Have you ever considered that you are not just one single person but a walking city of living things? It is a strange and beautiful thought to realize that half of what makes you who you are does not even share your own human code. Inside of you right now there are billions of tiny guests living their lives and working in the dark spaces of your body. We usually think of ourselves as the masters of our own minds and the rulers of our own thoughts. We believe that our feelings and our moods come from somewhere deep inside our own heads. But what if the source of your happiness or your sadness or even your sudden hunger is not actually you at all? What if your personality is shaped by a hidden conversation happening far away from your brain in the depths of your stomach? We are beginning to understand that our bodies are not simple machines but complex ecosystems where different life forms are talking to each other every single second. This changes everything we thought we knew about health and happiness. For a long time we have treated the mind and the body like two separate rooms in a house. We thought that what happened in the gut was just about fuel and digestion and what happened in the head was about thinking and feeling. This is the surface level of how we view ourselves. We think of the gut as a simple factory that processes food. We imagine it working quietly in the background without any real influence on our higher thoughts. But this view is far too simple. The gut is actually a very loud and busy place filled with tiny organisms that are constantly sending signals upward. When these tiny guests are happy and healthy, they send messages of peace and energy. When they are out of balance, they can send messages that feel like fear or sadness or exhaustion. This means that a bad mood might not be a failure of your character or a problem with your life. It might just be a physical signal coming from a part of your body you never even listened to. There is a hidden assumption in our modern world that we are the only ones in charge of our decisions. We assume that when we feel anxious it is because of our jobs or our relationships. We assume that when we feel cloudy it is because we did not sleep enough. While those things are important, we often ignore the fact that we are being influenced by biological forces that do not even have human DNA. These tiny microbes produce the very chemicals that our brains use to feel joy or calm. They are like tiny chemists living inside us, mixing the potions that determine how we see the world today. If we ignore them, we are only seeing half of the picture of what it means to be human. We are realizing that the brain is not a lonely island at the top of the body. Instead, it is connected by a massive biological cable that allows for a two-way street of information. This structure means that a physical problem in the gut can quickly become a mental problem in the head. Think about a time when you felt very nervous before a big event. You probably felt butterflies in your stomach. We use that phrase all the time, but we rarely stop to think about what it actually means. It means your brain and your gut are talking so fast that you can feel the vibration of the conversation. Now imagine that this conversation is happening all the time, even when you are not nervous. If the gut wall becomes weak or if bad bacteria start to take over, it is like a security breach in a building. The body sends out an alarm and that alarm travels straight to the brain. This can lead to a state of constant inflammation. We used to think inflammation was just about a swollen knee or a red mark on the skin. But we are learning that inflammation in the brain can look exactly like depression or chronic fatigue. This structural pattern shows us that mental health is not just a mental issue. It is a whole body issue. We need to reframe how we look at our own identity. Perhaps we should stop seeing ourselves as individuals and start seeing ourselves as a partnership. You are a host providing a home for billions of creatures, and in return they help you navigate the world. This new perspective is very hopeful. It suggests that we have more tools to help ourselves than we realized. If we can strengthen the connection between the gut and the brain, we might be able to treat the mind through the body. There is a special kind of stimulation that acts like a bridge repair for that major nerve cable. By sending signals to this nerve, we can actually help the gut stay strong and stop the spread of negative inflammation. This is not just a theory. It is a path that is already being used to help people with very serious conditions. When we strengthen that barrier, we are essentially calming the storm before it ever reaches the brain. It is like fixing a leak in a dam before the water floods the valley below. In our daily lives, this means we need to start listening to our bodies with much more curiosity. Think about the food you eat not just as calories for your muscles but as a peace offering to your tiny tenants. When you eat well, you are feeding the guests who help you stay happy. When you are feeling stressed, try to notice where you feel it in your body first. Is it a tightness in your chest or a knot in your stomach? These physical feelings are not just side effects of stress. They might be the actual source of the signal that is telling your brain to feel stressed. We can practice being better hosts by taking care of our inner environment. This involves more than just diet. It involves understanding that our physical health and our mental health are joined at the root. We can look for ways to stimulate that connection through breath and movement and rest. Every time you take a deep breath, you are actually sending a signal down that long nerve cable to tell your gut that everything is okay. This is a powerful tool that we carry with us every day. We are just beginning to see how deep this relationship goes. It is a slow process of discovery, but it opens up a world of optimism. We are finding that the walls between different parts of science are falling down. Doctors who study the gut and doctors who study the brain are finally sitting in the same room and talking to each other. This is how we will find better ways to live and heal. We are moving away from the idea that we are broken people who need to be fixed. Instead, we are seeing that we are complex systems that need to be balanced. Think about a garden that has stopped growing. You do not shout at the flowers to grow faster. You look at the soil and you look at the water and you look at the tiny life forms that live underground. When the soil is healthy, the flowers grow naturally on their own. Our bodies are the same way. When we nourish the invisible life inside of us, our minds become more resilient and our moods become more stable. This is a gentle way of looking at health. It is about harmony and cooperation rather than control. We are not just thinking machines. We are living landscapes. Every choice we make ripples through this inner world and changes the conversation between our gut and our brain. As we learn more about this hidden partnership, we can move through life with more compassion for ourselves. We can understand that our difficult days might be part of a biological cycle that we can influence with patience and care. We are never truly alone because we carry an entire world of life within us that is always trying to help us survive and thrive. This journey of understanding is still in its early stages, but the potential for change is enormous. We are rediscovering what it means to be a whole human being. We are learning that the secret to a clear mind might actually be hidden in the quiet working of our inner depths. If you truly understood that your moods were a physical conversation between your gut and your brain, how would you change the way you treat your body tomorrow?